Hello, everybody, and welcome to Alternative Interactions. I'm Gary. Um, Today I'm going to be talking about something that's a little bit more technical, but not. I'm going to try and keep it as simple as possible. But fundamentally, we're going to be talking about spells and spelling of the collective consciousness. So we're talking about a mind control system or controlled system of the collective consciousness that's in the ether around us that we're not aware of. Okay, so I'm going to be fundamentally talking about quantum entanglement and fluid dynamics if you wanted to get all sciencey about it. I'm going to try not to. Okay, so it's really interesting. It's quite fascinating. It came from a conversation with the Wizard of Oz, and it's another dimension to look at and to think about when we're absorbing or with the consciousness and what this realm really is. A toroidal field of consciousness. We create our own toroidal fields through our heart, and everything's connected. So so this is going to be quite an interesting one. Let's put it that way. But before I start that, thank you very much for all the well wishes and all the bits and pieces regarding my finger. It's healing and it's doing really, really well. Blood flow to the end of or the top part of my finger, and it's all looking as good as it could do. So thank you very much. So obviously another piece of advice: don't try and cut your finger off with a knife. It hurts. Anyway, so let's get back to the show. So yeah, we are subject into this realm with externalization of spells and spelling from external sources. This can be written word or the language that we use or language that's placed upon us via emotional connection and entanglement. So I'm going to be looking at this kind of this in a different way, something that was an aha moment in the conversation that I was having, as say, with the Wizard of Oz regarding quantum entanglement. Okay, and quantum entanglement basically means that if you've got an atom this side of the realm and there's an atom this side of the realm, as soon as the atom here gets a piece of information, this atom will have that at exactly the same time. They're entangled. So everything that happens, every kind of consciousness, every kind of word, spell, action, reaction, every kind of energy that we have, and this is an energetic frequency realm by the toroidal fields, everything is connected via quantum entanglement. Okay, and that's probably as deep as we need to go on the science on this one. But just knowing that quantum entanglement is a real thing, then as I talk through the story and go through into what I'm thinking about, will hopefully kind of make sense, as in everything is connected. Now, the story, here we go. Um, Wizard of Oz and I were talking about the emotion code. Now, the emotion code is fundamentally about releasing the release of trapped emotions. So we can do as much work as we want to on our conscious triggers of our traits and the way we are. We can sit and observe ourselves, observe, do not absorb. That works to the self as well. It's all about if you react to something, you have a reaction to something. Why did you have that? It's about sitting back and analyzing your actions, your reactions to something, a trigger, something that triggered you, and even in the positive, something that didn't trigger you. Because we're always looking at the negative, aren't they? Oh, but look at the positive as well. Oh, I handled that really well. I didn't get triggered. So what have I learned? What is it I can take from this amazing feeling and this brilliant sensation that I've just given, like that warm fuzzy feeling, Or how can I repeat that? How can I go onto the path? Because a lot of the time when we're talking about self work, working on the self, we're always looking at the negative sides of everything. Always. What can we do to improve? How can we be the best version of ourselves? Stay heart centered. All these amazing and quite correct things. But we also have a duality. And there's all these amazing things that all of you out there do every single day, that I do every single day, that are truly amazing. And yet we don't think about that. We ignore that fact. We don't follow that fact. It's like, okay. So when we're talking about self-work, I think we should be including the positivity of what we do as self-work and looking at when we did something really, really well, not only patting ourselves on the back not in an egotistical way, but in a love and light and understanding way, observing ourselves, as the third person almost observing. We then get to see the amazing things we've done and the things we've done really, really well. And we can build on that because we're then more conscious of the best version of ourselves. So it's not just taking the negative stuff away, it's working on the positive stuff and acknowledgement of that. Okay, so this is for me, it's very important and something that I don't. We're programmed, or we've been programmed to always look at the negative. So sorry about that slight tangent before we start, but I think it's important that we understand how amazing we all are and what a brilliant job we're doing to be here at this time and at this moment in the now, being able to look into deeper and deeper aspects of ourselves and the realm and the consciousness of the toroidal field around us, the collective consciousness, and how we can change and affect that. Because fundamentally, this is what I'm talking about. This is changing and affecting the collective consciousness of what is. Okay? So, talking about the emotion code. Now, the emotion code is when we subconsciously, and we need a third person. We need somebody to help us, and the person doing the emotion code with us will be helping us find subconsciously via the higher self a trigger or something that's causing us to do something that we don't want, but we can't work out what it is, and so we need help. And the emotion code is something that does this. It's the next stage onwards. I'm probably not explaining it the best way possible. I would suggest someone like Gordon from Peaceful Rebellion, who does guided hypnosis and does all this kind of work. If you really wanted to get into this, or you want to find somebody that help in a subconscious driver and releasing that from your body, the emotion code is the way to do it. Now, with the emotion code, there's generally a sheet of words, and this sheet is laid out in a certain way or not. Okay, but there's a sheet that goes with the emotion code, and the person doing this will often be following the sheet, or they've learnt it. And this follows a set of words that you're asked by your higher self. So you don't go into hypnosis as such, but you go into a calm state, and the person will ask you via a sway test, a pendulum, or pressure, whichever way they do it, or reaction to certain words. They will find out what the issue is, whether It's a trapped emotion from your childhood that you're not able to recognize from a relative or an externalization or something that came from your past, as in your past lives of either you. For instance, I have a fear of heights, and when I was being regressed by Gordon a month or two ago, it turned out that I was thrown off a castle wall. That would give you a fear of heights, okay? But that's a trapped emotion in a way that I have no. There's nothing in my immediate life that would give me the reason why would I be scared of heights. But clearly, in a past life, there's a memory of, or somebody in my lineage, somebody I was connected to through the DNA water memory, this could be as well, was thrown off a castle wall. And so that fear, that emotional trigger was placed into the code of me, of the collective, which then I'm picking up on again. Okay. Now, obviously, being thrown off a wall, that is obviously me. But sometimes it could be a relative that had a traumatic experience, and then it's passed on, which is part of the reason why we have wars. It's to traumatize people, so then the offspring of the person who's been traumatized via a war, that trauma is passed upon, and the dumb elites and the deletes understand this, and then they can use certain triggers to create certain situations from a memory that you have no control of. Okay, it's part of the control mechanism of the mind. Okay, subconsciously, not the reasoning and your experience. This is a subconscious program of us. Okay. Hopefully, I'm not making it too complex and we're understanding. Please look up the emotion code, do some research if you're not sure what it is. I've had it done to me, and it helped. Okay. Now you have a connection to your higher self via the emotion code coach, and they will not necessarily read off the sheet. They actually have the sheet in front of them, and the way it was done for me, I was asked if it was the top, middle, or bottom word, as in which words, as in is it sentence one, sentence two, sentence three, that kind of thing. Those sentences weren't read out to me, and I would instinctively answer, oh, it's one. Then one would lead to something else, and there'd be a list of questions, and it might be question three from that, so it'd be one, three, and that would give the emotion code coach the ability to work out what's going on. Now, I never read the sheet. The only person that read the sheet was the emotion code coach. And yet I am responding to a sheet of paper that I've never seen. Now, it could be said that the collective, your higher selves are connecting in some way. If our higher selves are connecting in some way, we're talking quantum entanglement, aren't we? And we know from quantum entanglement that if one thing connects to it and another thing connects to it, then that is in the collective consciousness. It's not a secret anymore. It's not between just two people. It's actually out there in the ether, the toroidal field. Now, from this emotion code, you can then find out what the problem is. You can get it released, and there's various methods in which people release that. And then you're then aware of it, mentally aware of it, and then you can work on it because it's no longer hidden, and it's in your consciousness. not your subconscious. And so you can then work on it and clear yourself to become the best version of yourself and more heart-centered. Okay. But I want to now look at the sheet that we weren't ever shown, the code that was followed. I had no ideas of the words, and yet here we are. I've just done the sway test. I've done all the bits and pieces. The trapped emotion's been found. It's been released. I'm aware of it now. I'm aware of why I act and react in certain ways because what was some subconscious before is now conscious, and I can then observe what I'm doing, and I can work on myself, and it's out in the open for me. But I never saw the words. I never saw the sheet, and yet I reacted to that. Now, you could say that we were connected to our higher selves and they spoke to each other. Of course you could. But that is a quantum entanglement. That is, again, as I said, a quantum entanglement. It's a connection of the universe. And we're fundamentally, are we talking about something like the Akashic records here? I mean, if we're talking about collective consciousness, David Icke put it very, very well years ago. I went and saw him, and he said there's a cloud of a bit like the 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 AI cloud that they call it up in the sky. I don't believe it's a cloud; it's a computer, isn't it? It's a data bank. But there's this cloud of collective consciousness. There's this energy, and everything that has been, is being, and will be is all in this collective consciousness because of quantum entanglement and the connection of via fluid dynamics, as in the water that we're in. So the water carries the information and the energy and the codes of, and so there we are. So we are in a position where we're now looking at something that's really quite complex, but I'm taking it back to it's a consciousness. It's a consciousness bubble of everything that is, and it's we're connecting to that. So subconsciously, our highest, us for us, but our higher self is connecting to something that's written down and reacting to it without seeing it. And this is the nub of the thing. Our higher self is connecting to words and reacting to those words when it hasn't seen those words. Excuse me, sick. Sorry about that. So we're not seeing the words, but we're reacting to them. Now, let's take this a step further in a bigger context from that. Does this mean that when something's written down and an energy is produced to it, I think we're fully aware of rituals, and I'm not going to go any further by just saying rituals, you know, good or bad, but there are rituals that happen that the Dumbelites do to try and affect changes. Now, they obviously know the rules of the game. They know it. We're playing catch up. But when they do this, what they're fundamentally doing is they're putting out into the collective consciousness via quantum entanglement a subconscious requirement that we all pick up on subconsciously. They can then use the media and other forms of entertainment like movies, music, and or education, social pressure, phones, all the bits and pieces, that we have this soup of information coming into us all the time. But that information's out there subconsciously, and they can then trigger subconsciously a mass movement, because out in the ether is this information, and we then suddenly pick up on it subconsciously. Our higher self could be picking up on it unintentionally, and all of a sudden we start acting and reacting in a different way to what we would normally, because this is the spells and the spelling of the collective consciousness of the control mechanism of the mind. Yes, big one. So I'm not going to go too much further deeply into this, particularly in the way I'm doing it, but it really is a thing. We know it's a thing. But once you're aware of this being a thing, you can then start to observe and not absorb the information, and become more discerning in the way we act and act to certain things. So we have doom scrolling at the moment. Seems to be it's the name, where we go, people go on Facebook, Instagram, or even YouTube now on shorts, and you can scroll, look at something, then scroll, and the algorithms are constantly pushing you to one way or another. And obviously you'll say something like, I don't know, oh, I need a new fridge freezer, and then all of a sudden there's fridge freezer adverts everywhere on your system and whatever you look at. Okay. Now, this has been going on for years. And I can remember 10 years plus ago, maybe 15 years ago, I was on social media and I'd been thinking about something. And the thing I was thinking about came up on social media. I didn't understand it. And I was like, oh my God, the phone's reading my mind now. But the phone wasn't reading my mind. My mind had connected into this brain state, this the whatever, data wave of our brain consciousness. We've got different gamma, and I can't remember all of them now, but we go into different brain states. And when we're doom scrolling, we'll often go into a different realm of our brain, and we can then be easily programmed, but we can also program out into the consciousness as well. And so while I was doom scrolling, my mind's gone on to something else, and it's come back again, and then it's come up. Now, the phone didn't read my mind. There's no AI. This isn't a big conspiracy. I thought it was at the time, but now understand it. Via quantum entanglement of the energy of my brainwave, I have put out into collective consciousness what I want. I manifested what I wanted, in effect, because my brain was at the right kind of wave state. So I've manifested something I want to watch and look and see, and the higher self, quantum entanglement, it's all gone round and straight down, and I have been shown on a device what I manifested, what I wanted to see. Crazy, crazy, but it's how it worked. Now, obviously, of course, there's algorithms, and they've got far more sophisticated than they were 15 plus years ago. But the same thing applies when you get into a certain mindset, a brain, I mean, when they're doing the emotional code, they can tell you what frequency that your brain's going into fundamentally, to connect to the higher self, to connect to the collective consciousness, to be able to read the sheet. Your higher self is reading that sheet fundament knows exactly what's on that sheet, even though you don't, to then produce answers in the subconscious to be able to do this. And this is what I observed on the phone. I didn't understand that at the time, but the principle is identical. It's exactly the same process. Really interesting. Now, I'm going to go on to an example that's far more nefarious to explain some of the things that they've done as part of their control mechanism and part of their sickness. And I'm going to go on to these jibby jabbies. Okay, the 10 dart finish. And I think we're now at an 11 dart finish now in the UK because obviously it's that time of year where, you know, one to flatten the curve. And now we're at 11. Didn't you do well? Somebody's making a lot of money out of that, aren't they? Now, we have data sheets that go with these things. Okay. These things, when that information is produced, is a spell. Who knows what kind of um, sorcery or what kind of thing is done in the background via the medical industry to create an emotional connection to that. But fundamentally, once that's written out, it's been written, they've done tests, written it, they put it in. It's now part of the collective consciousness, the quantum entanglement of everything. The plot shot or the whatever it is we're talking about, the harms of that are in the collective consciousness. They're out there. And fundamentally, somebody could go through an emotion code situation with a data sheet from one of these. And if you had had one of these and you were injured, it's very likely that your higher self, get this, would be able to pinpoint exactly where on the sheet that was when you've never read the sheet. And obviously the emotion code practitioner would be, but because it's already been written out and it's there, your higher self will know about it because we are connected to everything. So I'll say that again. We are connected subconsciously to everything. Every word, every spell, every sentence that has ever been produced is there in the collective consciousness, the Akashic records, whatever you would want to call it, the cloud of all. It's there, and we have access to that. Okay. Now, when we're triggered, or when we go through a okay, I'm trying to find the right words because I'm on YouTube. When we go through a an event that is designed to trigger something that would connect us to the words on the spells of that sheet, that would then enable the negativity of that sheet to be put into us. Rituals is kind of what I'm talking about here. So you go to the doctor or you go to the place where this happens. Okay. Be no different going into a church, synagogue, mosque, or whatever else it would be. You then have a ritual done where something that's sharp breaks your skin. The breaking of the skin via the sharp implement is the connection to the data via the spelling that completes the spell as ingredients are put inside you, good or bad. You have then been hijacked via a ritual that you have participated in willingly, most times willingly, not as a child, but as an adult, we're willingly placed into this. And we have had a ritual that's connected to words and spells that can then control the mind and create dis-ease and imbalance, regardless of whether there was good or bad ingredients in what was pumped into you. It's our belief that this process was good for us that may save some people. But if you're in fear and you're believing the propaganda that's been placed upon you via the ritual of the act, then it's very likely that the combination of all this via the quantum entanglement will then cause the thing that the ritual was designed to do. Mind blowing, I know, but when you start putting stuff together, it's all there. It's about peeling the layers of that onion away and understanding the games that they play and how they play them. There was again, the Wizard of Oz came across when doom scrolling about this lady who believed that nothing had been put into these and that it was purely a ritual, and it was actually the fact of the skin being broken was all that was needed because of, you know, not because of this, but that's all that was needed. But I'm taking it a step further. It's because of the writing, it's because of the spells, it's because of the words, it's because of the context of. Remember, somebody who's been cured is not a customer anymore. Somebody who you can keep in continuous stress and unwellness is a customer for life. You make a lot more of this. So this is how the dumb elites have used words and spells via our connective consciousness to hijack our ability to create because they can't create anything. They've got no abilities. We're the creators of the realm. And so when these systems are used, these rituals, spells, actions, consequences, manifestation of, we then create what they want. And understanding this and knowing the game means that you can say no. There's nothing stopping you doing your own ritual against them because we're the creators. So you can write anything down on the piece of paper you want. You can verbalize it. You can put it into a message onto Facebook or Instagram or Telegram or whatever you're on. You can do that. And the original piece of paper, you can then create the ritual by taking it outside, saying to the universe that this is truth and this will be. You can burn that piece of paper and you've created a spell against the dumb elites using their own magic, our own creation, our own manifestation abilities. And this is how we create and help us move forward into the 5D realm of the Christ code, Gaia, Shangri-La, the golden era. This is all what it's all about. Breaking their codes, understanding, understanding how they use these words and spells against us, and so breaking that. Really interesting. Now, I'm going to finish off now with something that I think is really important about talking nicely about yourself. Words or spells. You are amazing. You are great. You are awesome. As you well know, I cut, my finger end of it off lengthways, stuck it back on, did all the bits and pieces. But as soon as I did that, I consciously put out into the universe that my finger had already healed. I already had blood flow to the bit I'd cut off. It had knitted back perfectly because I am amazing, I am wonderful, I'm a creator, and I can create my own reality. And my reality is that my finger's fine. My finger will not hurt. My finger will not throb. There will be no problems with my finger. I am blessed. I have had no problems with my finger. Everything I said and meant with passion, because you're going to be passionate when you just do there's an emotion there. There's a lot of emotion there because I said it, meant it. I created the spell. I did actions to fulfill that by sticking the end of the finger back on, by making sure I was using a good quality pure honey and some black seed oil to enhance the spell. And I've had no problems with my finger. Again, this is not medical advice. This is just what I did. And this is just to express how powerful the mind is and what we can do to change the reality to manifest what we want within this realm. And of course, everything I've said here, particularly about the jibby jabbies and everything else like that, none of that is medical advice. It's all a story. It's all made up. And please look at my disclaimer in my description so that you all know that none of this is true. What a wonderful world we live in. But talking nicely about yourself. When's the last did you praise yourself today? Did you tell yourself how amazing you are? When's the last time you did that? You have the power to change you by mindfulness, the words which are spells, putting it out into collective consciousness and using the system that they have been using against us for thousands of years against them. Turn the tables. And this is about taking your sovereignty back. This is about self-empowerment and understanding the rules of the game and changing the rules of the game that are of benefit to you, the collective, and take us through into something that's amazing, beautiful, and wonderful. So I know it was a slightly deeper one today, but there's some real important bits and aspects that are placed into this to understanding and breaking their control mechanism, smashing it, in fact. You are the creator. You're the all-powerful God, if that's the word you want to use. You're divine. You're the divine power in this realm. You can create and do anything you want. The only thing that stops you is your mind that's been controlled and MK Ultra'd almost, mind controlled into believing something that's not really real and true. And this is just one of those, another peeling of the layers to free the mind, to open the mind, to take the next step along the road to enlightenment, inner peace, and love. Because you can only move forward when you forgive yourself in love. Meditate on that. Meditate on giving yourself love. Breath work. Create a ball of chi in your hand that's pure love and put it into yourself. There's so many amazing techniques available. Or just sit there quietly and think about it and then express how amazing you are to yourself, then get on with your day. We have this and we are moving into an amazing time in the world, in the realm. So let's peel back these layers. Let's think about, to be conscious about what they've done to us and how they've done stuff to us. We can change that. We can stand up and we can say no more. And we can do that via using their own systems against them. So remember, observe, do not absorb the information. Lots of stuff going on at the moment, lots of trickery. Don't get sucked in. There's no need. Keep on working, keep on thinking about yourself. And remember, inner work is not only the negative, it's the positive. The amazing things you do. Pat yourself on the back. Give yourself some love. Empower yourself. And with that, love, light, and blessings. And I shall catch up with you very soon. Bye bye, everyone. Bye bye.